أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I just finished a essay and I'm at the point of middle of this essay. So let me finish the rest of the answer. So I just two body paragraph is left, the last body paragraph and the conclusion. So let's moving dive into this. Another important the topic was about some people think that nowadays children have too much freedom. Do you agree or disagree? So I am in the last paragraph. Furthermore, the change in family structure from joint to nuclear families is responsible for the freedom showered on today's children. Earlier, grandparents were there to keep a watchful eye on their grandchildren, but today's children do not have such supervision on them as a result of which they get a lot of freedom. To sum up, it can be reiterated that the freedom enjoyed by today's children is by and large inevitable. The onus is on the parents to to see it that this excess freedom does not go against their children. So I'm moving to the next essay as I am finished the present essay. So dive into the next person. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The topic is children are taught to push themselves. Children are taught to push themselves to try and be better than their classmates rather than work together for everyone's profit. Do you agree? So, do you think advantage outweigh its disadvantage? So, let's dive in. These days, competitiveness is encouraged more than cooperation. While it is important to teach competitiveness to children, I believe cooperation is as important a virtue to be instilled in children. Therefore, the disadvantages of teaching children how to compete at the expense of cooperation are more. Therefore, the disadvantages of teaching children how to compete at the expense of cooperation are more. On the one hand, there are many reasons why competition is important for children's growth. When children are pushed to compete, their unlimited potential can be trapped. This also helps them to develop confidence. Pressure and competition is all around us nowadays in achieving academic excellence as well as doing well in one's career. Every person has to compete. There are many examples of people around us who have become successful in their lives by competing in sports events or music contests. On the other hand, it is very important to cultivate cooperation abilities in children. Children who do not learn to cooperate are usually as isolated, introverted, and consequently they are socially inadequate. Cooperation is a contributing factor to the success of a community. Only with cooperation can children learn to live in harmony with each other. Personally, I believe that children should be taught both how to compete as well as how to cooperate. It is more important to teach children the situation where they need to compete and where they need to cooperate. So I really love this paragraph. So I would like to read aloud this again. I personally believe that children should be taught both how to compete as well as how to cooperate. It is more important to teach children the situation where they need to compete and where they need to cooperate. Both these virtues are needed in adult life. For instance, in solo sports and for sitting in an exam, children need to compete, whereas in team sports and in group assignments, children have to cooperate. Similarly, in adult life, no business house can rise to the pinnacles of success with the efforts of a single man. Oh, to compete with single scientists can find the cure for cancer or AIDS. Scientists all over the world have to join hands to fight this deadly disease. To sum up, it can be reiterated that forcing children only to compete rather than cooperate has more disadvantages than advantages, as both competition and cooperation are equally important to our in our lives. It's already finished the second essay, so moving to the next important essay. The positive point for people in most societies. How does competitiveness affect business? Mm. So the topic is team activities can teach more skill for life than those activities. I'm little bit confusion about this sentence. Let me dive into the break down it. Team activities can teach more skills for life than those activities which are played on alone. Oh, I see. Let me say it again. Team activities can teach more skills for life than those activities which are played alone. To what extent do you agree or disagree? It is believed by some that group activities better prepare people for life than working alone. While I do believe that individual activities are important, team activities certainly hold more relevance. On the one hand, there are many life skills people learn by activities on their own. The main advantages is that people learn how to be independent. They learn how to accomplish tasks on their own and make decisions without relying on others. This in turn makes them confident that they handle different situations on their own. Another benefit is that they learn that they are responsible for the outcome of their action, and so they are better able to assess themselves and make corrections. However, skills learned while working in a group certainly outweigh the benefits of working alone. However, skill learned while working in a group certainly outweigh the benefits of working alone. Fastly, today's social skills like communication, cooperation, and listening to others are the need of the hours, as non-social skill jobs are gradually getting replaced by automation. Computers cannot mimic human interaction, and thus the need for such skills is definitely more today. In addition, due to globalization, it is increasingly common for people to work with individuals from different backgrounds and culture, and thus working alone would not prepare people for this situation. Yes, absolutely. However, this skill learned while working in a group certainly outweighs the benefit of working alone. Firstly, today's social skills like communication, cooperation, and listening to others are the need of the hour, as non-social skill jobs are gradually getting replaced by automation. Computers cannot mimic human interaction, and thus the need for such skill is definitely more today. In addition, due to globalization, it is increasingly common for people to work with individuals from different backgrounds and cultures, and thus working alone would not prepare people for this situation. Secondly, working together also enables people to learn how to deal with conflicts. Disagreements are a part of both personal and professional life, and people need to know to resolve them calmly and harmoniously. Finally, teamwork provides more learning opportunities as people get to work with others. For example, while working in a team, people get to know different perspective and fresh ideas of doing things, and they learn from their peers mistakes and are able to avoid making them themselves in the futures. To conclude, but to sum up, I would reiterate that team activities and individual activities both teach important skill of life, but the skill learned by working with others have a lot more importance. I would reiterate that team activities and individual activities both teach take both teach both teach important skill of life, but the skill learned by working with other have a lot more importance. That's the end of the situation.